Hello and welcome to Math World. Today we're going to talk about adding and subtracting unlike denominators. The last video was like denominators. This time it's going to be unlike denominators. So just a refresher, if we have like denominators, meaning the bottom numbers are the same, we just add the tops and keep the bottom the same. Easy. So what about if the bottom number is different? So let's say we have 4 over 10 plus 3 over 5. Now we do not have like denominators. What do? Well, we can't just do what we did before and add these. It's not the like denominators. These aren't the same size slices of pizza. These pizzas are much larger than these pizzas. So what we have to do is we have to make them like denominators. We have to figure out how to change one or maybe sometimes both of these fractions so that they are like denominators, and then it's back to being easy. So what we want to do, a trick I like to use, is to write out all the multiples of my denominators, each of the denominators, until I find a match. So let's start with the 10. The 10 has multiples of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I usually like to do about 5 and hope that there's a match there. Now let's go over here to 5 and write out all the multiples of 5. 5, 10. Now I could keep going, but as soon as you find a match, that's when you want to stop. You only have to find the lowest match. So 5, 10, the 10s are going to match here. We have a winner. Now here's the tricky part. I know that I want to make both denominators 10 since they both go into 10. What I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many places over how I had to count for the 5. 1, 2. It took me 2 numbers to get this 5 to become a 10. So what I'll do is I'll multiply by 2. I'll multiply 3/5, 3 and 5 by 2. What's 3 times 2? 6. What's 5 times 2? 10. Now over here, how many numbers did I have to count to get to the 10? Well, just 1, which means I get to multiply everything by 1. I don't have to multiply anything really, because times 1 doesn't change. And I get to keep it as 4 over 10. I now have 4 over 10 plus 6 over 10, because I multiplied the 3/5 by 2. I now have like denominators. Now it's back to being easy. 10, 4 plus 6 is 10, over 10, all done. So our goal is to get our unlike denominators to be like denominators by finding the multiples. Let's do one more example, a little bit tougher. How about 3/4 minus 1/3? Alright, so we do not have like denominators here, so we cannot just do 3 minus 1 and walk away. We have to get them to be like denominators. First, I'm going to write out all the multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And like I said, I like to go at least 5 of them and hope that there's another one over here within 5. Well, now let's try 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Did I miss something? Oh yeah, there's a match right there. 12 and 12 was a match. Alright, so now I can start changing the other ones based on how many numbers I had to count. So here I had 1, 2, 3, which means I need to multiply everything in this problem by 3. What's 3 times 3? 9. What's 4 times 3? 12. Alright, this one's been changed to 9 over 12. That's fine. Now what about 1/3? Let's see, how many times do I have to count to get to 12? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to multiply everything by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. And 3 times 4 is 12. And look at that, the trick worked. I have like denominators. Now let's finish it off. 9 minus 4 is 5. 12 stays the same. 5/12. Not too bad. The hardest part is probably counting out all your factors of the number and finding the match. Well, that's it, and I'll see you in class. Now a word from our sponsor, Paper Cut Games. This week's game, Uno. Alright, now I know you've heard of Uno. This is a game that I've played since I was a kid, and I'm sure a lot of you have played. It's a very simple game. If you don't know how to play, go ask anybody, because they know how to play. Where each person gets a deck of cards, and you kind of have to throw out cards and match them. So if a green 6 comes out, the other player has to play either another 6 or another green card. And the goal is to get rid of all your cards. There's always fun things to do, like make somebody else draw more cards. And it's a fun game, it's super simple, and it travels everywhere. But, have you heard of Disparci? This is an Italian version of the game Goosed. It's basically Uno, but a Halloween theme to it. The rules are a little different, but you'll notice that they have some of the same kind of things. Here's Walter, number 9, Mummy. There's Igor, he's a little scarier and bigger. You have little number 2, Franchino. And there's things that do like wipe the board. They even have their own version of skip and reverse. And the goal of the game in Disparci is to actually scare away all the other ghosts with bigger ghosts. But you know who beats them all? Little Perino, this little boy. He beats everything. So kind of a similar game. You're trying to get rid of your graveyard instead of your hand. And it's basically Uno with a twist. So if you want to play Uno, but a little differently, especially around Halloween time, check out Goosed.